I like the portal, I really do, but to a certain extent, and you'll see exactly what I'm referring to in this video when I tell you this story. It is ruining the game of college football. Nobody talks about that though, and that is the sad part. As much as I love the transfer portal, and as entertaining as it is for college football fans like me and you, there is a bad, and I mean an extremely bad side to it. I'm just gonna be blunt and harsh about this. It's ruining the game of college football. Whoa, hold on. I know what you're sitting there saying. Yo, Matt, what in the crap are you talking about? Matt, you said you love the portal. You love seeing the players have the power, and I do. As much as I love that aspect to it, there's a lot of other aspects that aren't so good. In this life, when you look at any situation, you can't be narrow-minded. You gotta look at every aspect. Ladies and gentlemen, what we're currently witnessing with the transfer portal is what I would like to label as the butterfly effect. I don't like to complicate stuff. Y'all know how I am. I like to dumb it down in the simplest way possible. Also, in today's video, I'm going to share with you guys a story about a player who is reaping the negative effects of all this stuff going on. I was talking to a player last night who started last season, and now with a new player coming in because of the transfer portal, he's no longer going to have a starting spot. Or at least that's what he's going to assume, and I understand why he believes that. There's some more stuff to that story I got to share with you, and also we're going to talk a little bit about the Heisman Trophy. As most of you know, Caleb Williams, he won the award, yet there's still some controversy going on. It goes without being said, we got a ton of college football stuff to cover in this video, and as most of you know, our goal was to hit 250,000 subscribers before Christmas. And as you can see on your screen right here, we hit it already, and there's still like 13 or 14 days to go. I'm going to be honest with y'all, I'm not going to say I'm shocked we hit it so early because I know the power you guys have and we have on this channel. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. We have the best college football community in the world. From everyone that comments, likes, or you just simply watch the videos, I think you all know this. What we've built on this channel and we're slowly continuing to build each and every single day, it's unreal. Our community is so strong and powerful. I can't thank you guys enough. I don't want to be corny or anything and talk about how grateful I am for the next 2 or 3 minutes. I think you guys get that. Nobody wants to hear all that. We're just a bunch of guys and girls that like talking about football. We all love the sport and we all have that competitive spirit about us, so I thought, you know what? Since we still got 13 days left to go, I say our new goal is 260K. This intro's already been way too long. I did want to say thank you so much once again. If you do want to join our community, feel free to. If not, that's cool too. All right, Matt, blah, 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 shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. I do apologize for the long intro. Before we get into all this portal stuff, let's talk about the Heisman for about 45 seconds. I'm not going to get into this Stetson Bennett debate. Y'all know how I feel about it. We've talked about it enough. Long story short, Stetson DoorDash Bennett didn't deserve to be there, but he was there. End of story. The Heisman Trophy race all throughout this year, it was one of the weirdest ones ever because nobody really separated themselves. But very similar to the playoff, although it seemed like nobody deserved to be in the playoff outside of Michigan and Georgia, you still got to put people in it. The 4 guys in attendance, Caleb Williams, CJ Stroud, Max Duggan, and Stetson DoorDash Bennett. Out of those 4 guys, Mr. Caleb wins the award, and nobody's shocked about this. I think everybody knew he was going to win it. I don't have too much to say about it because I don't have a problem with it. I think they got it right. Caleb Williams, he won it. In second place, you had Max Duggan. In third place, you had Stroud. And fourth, obviously, you had Bennett. It kind of just felt like Bennett was there for the publicity because he's the quarterback on the best team in the country. We all know how this goes. I don't want to get into that whole debate about who should have been there. But check this out. I didn't even think about this. Lincoln Riley has coached 3 Heisman winners in 6 seasons. Look, I don't care what you say. That's pretty impressive. Baker Mayfield in 2017, Kyler Murray in 2018, and most recently Caleb. And that's also why I got Lincoln Riley. I know a lot of you don't like him, but I still think he's a top 3, top 4 head coach at the moment. At number 1, I got Nick Saban. At number 2, I got Kirby Smart. And number 3, I got Lincoln Riley. Say what you want about the guy, but he's an offensive mastermind, and no matter where he goes, he wins games. Yes, I get it. Everybody's going to bring up, well, Matt at Oklahoma, he choked in the playoffs. He choked recently with USC against Utah. I get it. I get it 100%, just like this comment says. Nice. 3 Heismans, 0 natties. The guy's a Madden coach. Big numbers can't coach with the big dogs. That got 148 likes, and under that, I really like this reply. There are only 5 active head coaches that have won national titles. The notion that everyone else can't coach with big dogs is comical. I agree. In 2022, we're in the modern day and age, and I agree with it, but this is the modern day and age where if you don't win a national title, you're considered a quote-unquote failure. It's the same thing with Brian Kelly. He was considered a failure at Notre Dame because he couldn't get over the hump of beating the big dogs. Same thing with Ryan Day. Ohio State fans hate this guy. Why is that? Yeah, he goes 11-1. 12-0 every single year, but he can't win the big one. Does that mean that Ryan Day, Brian Kelly, or Lincoln Riley is a bad head coach or an average head coach? No. All three of those guys, well, actually, my bad. I just think Brian Kelly and Lincoln Riley, I would consider them great head coaches, and I would consider Ryan Day a good head coach. But that's the problem. Most people don't think that way, and I do understand it. Especially at Ohio State. You can go 11-0 every single year, but if you continue to lose that game against Michigan, you're going to be fired. You can say all day I'm trying to take up for Lincoln Riley, but I don't think I am. I just think I'm telling you how it is. Yes, obviously, he's not known for his defense, and his defense at Oklahoma and USC has been terrible, but look at Oklahoma this year. They hired a defense head coach, and they were one of the worst defenses in the nation. Yes, Lincoln Riley does need to improve on defense, but we all knew this year, or at least I knew, USC, they were not going to compete on the defensive side of the ball. The defense is awful. Different conversation for a different day. We got to move on to the main topic of the main encore. The main reason you clicked onto this video, we gotta talk about the portal. Why did I say it like that? We gotta talk about the portal. You get what I'm trying to say. We all know the transfer portal is complete chaos at this current moment in time, but I'm gonna give you a great example of why it's not so great. And this is happening at a lot of schools, but this is just a prime example. Alabama is currently going after a tight end in the portal. He played for Maryland, and he goes by the name of CJ Dupree. He wasn't some monster for Maryland, but you put him in that Alabama offense, he looks like he could be pretty solid. As you can see on your screen, he's about 6'5", 260 pounds. Yeah, he's everything you want in a tight end. And it kind of seems in the past few years or so, Alabama has lacked a lot in that tight end position. Do not get me wrong, and trust me, I didn't forget about him. Cameron Latu, the tight end for Alabama the past few years, I love that guy. He's done everything and more we've needed him to do, but when I think of Alabama tight ends early on, I think of coming off of the play action where we got a guy who's about 6'5", 6'6", just full out beast. Okay, that was a terrible sentence and way to say it. Let me give you a just simpler example. When I think of Alabama tight ends, I think currently of what Georgia has ongoing with Darnell Washington and Brock Bowers. Alabama used to get tight ends like that. They can catch, they can run, they're fast, and they can also block. Once again, not throwing shade towards Cameron Latu, but he wasn't a game changer. Whereas a few years ago when Alabama had Irv Smith Jr. and O.J. Howard, they were game changers. Hold on. I know what you're sitting there saying, yo, Matt, what in the crap does this have to do with anything? I'm getting there. The reason I bring that up is because Alabama currently has two tight ends sitting behind Cameron Latu that have been practicing and they're waiting for him to leave. And by the way, Cameron Latu, he accepted an invitation to go to the Senior Bowl, so it kind of feels like, yeah, he's leaving anyways. But my point is, you had two guys that were practicing behind Cameron Latu, and all they've been thinking is, man, I can't wait till Latu leaves because when he leaves, it's going to be my time to shine. They've been practicing, doing everything Nick Saban and Alabama's asked them to do, and out of nowhere, Alabama, they're just going to get a new tight end, and now they're still not going to play. But nobody thinks about that or talks about that. Alabama fans, they're just going to be excited. Hey, we're getting this new tight end from Maryland who's 6'5", 250. And trust me, I'm a part of the Bama fans. I'm excited to get this new kid in if we can land him. But what about the other kid that was fighting for the job all throughout this season? That's why the transfer portal sucks for kids that have grinded it out and they've stuck at universities for a year, 2 years waiting for that opportunity. And when the opportunity is about to come, it gets taken away because a better player comes in. So now it puts the guy who had integrity, he had passion for the team, he stayed with him for a couple of years at a disadvantage. I hate that, I really do, because now the Alabama backup tight ends, for example, one of them is Amari. He's going to go, well, dang, maybe I should just leave. And I can't fault Amari or anybody for thinking that way because they want to play. Before I move on, just think about that for a second. That part of the portal flat out sucks. You got guys at university, they've been practicing with the second, third team for years. It could be some guys that are practicing with them for 3 years. It's finally their senior year. They think they're going to start, then boom, this new hot and brand new sophomore. He's got all the talent in the world. He's going to come in and take the job. I get it, life's not fair, but what are we preaching to all these kids? Man, opting out of the bowl game, that's a terrible look. You don't have integrity. Man, entering the transfer portal, these kids, they're selfish. They don't have to face adversity. Well, when we see these kids stick out at universities or whatever, for example, Alabama for 2 or 3 years, and anyways, Alabama just goes in and recruits a new guy to fill the position. I mean, who's at fault here? Answer that. I don't want to dive too deep into detail on that because the butterfly effect, it can have you talking for hours. But, and I have a big but, here's what I will say. Last night, I was talking to a sophomore running back. He's currently the second string running back, but the starter now, he's about to go to the NFL. And this second string running back, by the way, he's a sophomore, so he's got to come back anyways. So with the current first string running back going to the NFL, it looks like he was going to be in position to be the starter next season. However, and I think you know exactly where I'm going with this, the team he plays for, it's a D1 team, by the way. I'm not going to tell you who it is. they're looking for a running back in the portal. When I was talking to him last night, he didn't sound worried or anything, but he also didn't seem reassured. He doesn't play at a big time school, by the way, so when we was talking about it, he was like, man, Matt, what if Alabama or Georgia's second string running back decides to transfer here? Well, duh, they're going to start over me. And all I said was, yeah, that more than likely will happen, because I don't want to sugarcoat it because he's my friend. I just want to tell him the truth. Because the harsh reality is, and everybody knows this, Alabama and Georgia's second string running back would start for 99 out of 100 other schools. And he knows this. He's not dumb. He's self-aware. But that's the problem with this, in my opinion. He's already been at this school for 2 years. He's been practicing, knows the guys. He's put in all this work. And meanwhile, he's been the backup. He's been waiting for his turn. And the school he's currently at hasn't signed a better running back, in my opinion. But what if they do? As a head coach, what do you tell the guy that's already on the team? Yeah, sorry about it. We just found someone better. It's kind of like, not kind of, it is like we're telling these kids, man, it's a shame you're entering the portal. You have no integrity. But the kids that are staying at the schools and they're staying loyal, they're still getting backstabbed. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is how this portal is, to a certain extent, ruining the game of college football. We're no longer rewarding guys for staying 3, 4, 5 years. Yes, we do here and there, but there's other guys behind the scenes that are getting penalized for staying. Once again, I like the portal. I think there's more positives than negatives, but there's also a lot of things I don't like. This just happens to be one of the things I don't like. And that's just one of the examples that I've personally heard from a person I know. Here's another great example. The number 2 prospect, or number 2, I guess, portal transfer is currently Devin Leary, which is the quarterback for NC State. Same thing with him. Wherever he transfers and more than likely becomes a new starter, that backup quarterback, who was supposed to be the starter because the new starter's leaving, he's still going to be the backup. Same thing with DJ Uiagalelei, the quarterback for Clemson. Some kids' dreams are going to get crushed because DJ Ugabadoogie comes in there and steals the job. So when's the conversation going to switch? That's my question. We talk about these players having no integrity and they don't go through adversity. What about these head coaches that are just letting guys coming off the street and steal these jobs right away from guys and players that have been there for years? Nobody talks about that, though, and that is the sad part. I like the portal, I really do, but like I've said, to a certain extent, it is ruining the game. Maybe I'm crazy, though, for even thinking about it to that extent. Let me know your thoughts down below. But